You are watching video on SEE Grade 10 Subject Science. The chapters for Grade 10 will be discussed in this video series. So the content of this video will give you complete explanation of the chapter Energy, chapter 3 in physics part. The chapter is going to be explained in parts 1, 2, 3 and 4. Now we are going to do part 2 explanation. We are going to study part 2. The chapter broadly consists of 4 parts. These 4 parts are classification of sources of energy, major sources of energy, alternative sources of energy and energy crisis. Now we are here in major sources of energy. What are the sources of energy which are being used in the world and in our country? We are going to discuss this part. So major sources of energy. According to data of 2001, the present status of energy in the world is as follows. Mineral oil 35%, coal 27%, natural gas 17%. So these three come under fossil fuels, which cover 79%. Only fossil fuels cover 79% of sources of energy in the world. Remember this. Biofuel means biomass, 13%, hydroelectric energy 5%, electricity, and nuclear energy 3%. Okay, so these are the other forms of energy in the world. So the highest percentage we can see in case of fossil fuels. So fossil fuels are used in major amount. Now we will see status of energy consumption in Nepal according to data of 2019. In Nepal, sources of energy, biomass 80%. So because major population of our country are involved in agricultural activities, so major portion comes from biomass, firewood, coal, gobar gas, etc. 80%. Petroleum products 12%. Petroleum products means fossil fuels. Fossil fuels cover 12.5% energy usage in our country. Hydroelectricity 3.5%. 3.4%. This is little bit more at the present time. This could be around 4%. Okay, you can take it as 4%. Solar power and other alternative sources of energy cover 2.5%. So this is in context of our country. Okay, Nepal. So in Nepal, biomass major part, petroleum product means fossil fuels 12.5, hydroelectricity electricity 3.4 to 4%, solar power and other alternative sources of energy 2.5. So in this part we are going to study major sources of energy. Now we'll study about these sources of energy. Okay, we'll see solar energy, we'll study about solar energy, we'll study about hydroelectricity, fossil fuels and biomass. Biomass will be done in alternative sources of energy. Now, major sources of energy, solar energy. The sun is the most abundant and everlasting source of energy on the earth. Solar energy is radiated in the form of heat and light due to nuclear fusion reaction. The tremendous amount of heat and light produced in the sun due to nuclear fusion reaction. Nuclear fusion reaction takes place in this manner. This is word equation for the reaction. Hydrogen atoms combine together to form helium with the liberation of large amount of energy, and chemical equation for the same is written in this way: 1 H1 plus 2 1 H1, extreme high pressure and temperature in the sun, helium atom plus 2 positron particles and energy. So here these numbers stand for, this lower one stand for atomic number, upper one stand for atomic weight. Okay, so altogether 4 protons of hydrogen combine together to form one atom of helium. Okay, with the liberation of positron particles, small subatomic particles, and huge amount of energy, heat and light energy. Conditions required for nuclear fusion in the sun. What are the necessary conditions for nuclear fusion to occur in the sun? So these are very important points for examination. You need to remember abundance of hydrogen. Plenty of hydrogen gas is present in the sun. Sun is made up of 75% of hydrogen gas and 25% helium approximately. Extremely high temperature and extremely high pressure. So these are the necessary conditions for nuclear fusion reaction to occur in the sun. Evidence of nuclear fusion in the sun. How can we say that nuclear fusion takes place in the sun? Presence of huge amount of hydrogen in the sun, 75%, and presence of helium 25%. So due to the presence of these two gases, we can say that nuclear fusion occurs in the sun. Now here are few data related to sun. You need to remember this one. Surface temperature of the sun is about 6000 degrees Celsius. Core temperature 1.5 into 10 to the power 7 degrees Celsius. And the sun radiates, gives out 2.7 into 10 to the power 24 kilowatt energy every second. Okay, if we take this as 2.2 trillion part of solar energy, then only one part reaches up to the earth, right? So solar energy received by the earth per square meter is estimated to be 1.4 kilowatt, or it can be said this way also: the earth's surface gets 1.4 kilowatt energy per square meter in average, and this amount is also called solar constant. 1.4 kilowatt is also called solar constant. Limitations of solar energy: although solar energy is abundant, indefinite amount of energy, but there are difficulties in using solar energy on the earth. It is because the earth's surface receives diffused sunlight. Weak sunlight, when it reaches the surface of the earth, it becomes weak, which is not very powerful to do useful work directly. Not available uniformly on the earth's surface, so it is not same all over the surface of the earth. Not available at night and cloudy days. So these are the difficulties of using solar energy directly. Traditional uses of solar energy: for drying clothes, preservation of fruits and vegetables, okay, and to obtain salt from sea water. So these are traditional uses, very old uses of solar energy. Now the present uses of solar energy in modern time: solar energy is harvested by using solar panel. Solar cells are joined together to form solar panel. These convert solar energy into electrical energy, and which is used in operating artificial satellites, communication devices in rural areas, water pumps, heating and lighting devices in homes, etc. So solar energy is used for heating and lighting purposes in our day-to-day life. So solar energy is used extensively for these purposes. Now sun as the ultimate source of energy. What do we say is sun is the parent form of energy. Other forms of energy have been produced from solar energy. So you have to give explanation of this point. So how can you explain this point? Wind energy is obtained from solar energy. It is because the heat of the sun heats up surface of the earth, and the air layer just above the surface of the earth gets heated, and when air gets heated, it rises up, and the space left by hot air is filled by cold air, which is blowing in the lower level. Okay, this process continues all the time, forming current of air, flowing of air all the time. This is called convection current. Okay, so convection current is occurring all the time in the atmosphere, and it all starts from solar energy, because solar energy heats up the surface of the earth. Okay, so wind energy is in fact the outcome of solar energy. Okay, so this way you have to explain sun as the ultimate source of energy. Hydroelectricity, even hydroelectricity is produced by solar energy. Solar energy is the reason for hydroelectricity. It is because water cycle occurs in atmosphere due to the heat of the sun. Heat of the sun evaporates water from water resources like rivers, streams, seas and lakes. Okay, this water vapor gets condensed at the height of atmosphere and falls in the form of rain. So rain gets deposited, rainwater fills lakes, rivers, seas and the oceans. Okay, some amount of rainwater fall on the mountain, which get converted into snow and ice. Okay, all these are outcome of solar cycle. So snow and ice in the mountains melt and form rivers. So the water flowing in the rivers is used for producing hydroelectricity. So we can say that hydroelectricity is also the outcome of solar energy. Solar energy causes the production of hydroelectricity because it causes water cycle in the atmosphere. And fossil fuels. What do we say is even fossil fuels are the outcome of solar energy. Plants use solar energy in photosynthesis process to prepare food. Animals depend on plants for their food. So the plants and animals lived millions of years ago, which got converted into fossils, lived because of solar energy. Okay, now these plants and animals of millions of years ago have converted into fossil fuels. Okay, so fossil fuels are also the outcome of solar energy. So this way you can explain sun is the ultimate source of solar, and sun is the ultimate source of energy. Sun is the cause of all other forms of energy. So this is the point under solar energy. Now we have come to the next part of major sources of energy, that is fossil fuels. So in our country 12.5% of fossil fuel is used. 12.5%, it covers 12.5%, very large amount. So fossil fuels obtained from fossils of plants and animals that lived millions of years ago are called fossil fuels. Fuels obtained from fossils, the fossils of plants and animals which lived millions of years ago. Now coal and petroleum, formation of coal and petroleum is discussed in short here. Okay, brief idea of formation of coal and petroleum. Plants and animals which died millions of years ago got buried beneath the earth. After they died, they got buried under sediment, means sand layer and mud soil layer, which prevented from oxygen reaching dead plants and animals. Due to high temperature and pressure inside the earth and in absence of oxygen, those dead parts got decomposed in the absence of oxygen. This resulted in the formation of coal and petroleum. So coal and petroleum, fossil fuels, are made deep inside the earth in absence of oxygen and under high pressure and temperature of the earth. So this is the formation of coal and petroleum, and uses of coal and petroleum we have done in the first part, classification of sources of energy. So fossil fuels, major sources of energy. Now the third part in major sources of energy, number C, hydropower or hydroelectric energy. The kinetic energy of flowing water is converted into electrical energy called hydroelectric energy. Kinetic energy of flowing water contains kinetic energy in it, and this kinetic energy gets converted into electrical energy in hydropower plant. Okay, so this is hydroelectric energy. Fast flowing water is made to fall on turbine blades. It causes turbine blades to rotate faster, and a rotating turbine is connected with armature of generator. The working of generator due to rotation produces electricity. Traditionally operated water mills, Gatta, are also they also work on the same principle as hydroelectric energy. So here hydropower plant, the water is collected in lake or the dam or reservoir, water reservoir, then water is made to fall with a great speed, okay, which contains kinetic energy, flowing water, and this flowing water rotates the turbine blades, flowing water is falling on the blades of turbine and it's rotated with a great speed, and this turbine is connected with the armature of generator, and this generator the rotation of this generator produces electricity in power station. So this is the hydropower plant. You need to understand this fundamental idea of hydroelectricity production. So total capacity of hydroelectricity in Nepal is 83,000 megawatts. You need to remember this data. 83,000 total capacity of hydroelectricity in Nepal is 83,000 megawatt. Now, at the present time, around 1,000 megawatt of hydroelectricity is being produced. Little bit more than 1,000 megawatt in fact, but in written it is 1,000 megawatt of electricity is being produced in Nepal. In 83,000 megawatt, 1,000 megawatt electricity is being produced. So this data you need to remember. Advantages of hydroelectricity. What are the advantages of hydroelectricity? Why these are beneficial for us? It is cheap and sustainable source of energy. You must be wondering how come hydroelectricity is cheap. So in fact, the installation of hydropower plant is very expensive affair. It needs so much of money. Okay, crores of fund is required, but once it is made, it can produce hydroelectricity for thousands of years. Okay, it can produce hydroelectricity for a long period of time. So it is cheap in the long run. It is because raw materials needed for hydropower plant is obtained cost free. Okay, because we have water resources in our country. We are the second richest country in water resources in the world. So this way the water is available cost free, and once hydropower plant is made, it can produce hydroelectricity for thousands of years. Okay, so it is cheap and sustainable source of energy. Sustainable source of energy means it does not get depleted. Pollution free source of energy, hydroelectricity does not cause any kind of pollution, so it is environmental friendly. It is the best source of energy. It is perpetual source of energy. So since water resources will be available in rivers, streams in our country, so these are never going to get depleted. So this is about major sources of energy in our country. With this we finish second part, and we are going to do third and fourth parts.